another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make pasta Elias. Pasta Elias is basically a Greek olive paste, similar to a tapenade, almost exactly the same thing, only the Greek way to do it. It's delicious and it has so much flavor in it. It's like a big punch of flavor that you can add to any meal. You use it as a spread, a dip, an appetizer, and if you really want to make something delicious with it, make a double batch, because in a couple of days, I'm going to share with you my 7-layer Greek dip, and you're not going to want to miss it because it is going to have a little bit of this olive spread in it. So delicious, comes together in like 10 minutes. Very basic ingredients, you might already have them on hand. Let's go over them so we can get started. We're going to need some really good quality Greek olive oil, some black pepper. We're going to use the zest and the juice of a lemon, and then your favorite olives. I have some salt cured olives here and some Kalamata olives that are already pitted with a clove of garlic. Then we're going to need some capers, sun-dried tomatoes, which are optional, dried oregano, and the tomatoes are going to be used as a garnish. You can use whatever you like. So I highly recommend to use the highest quality olives that you can find, and the best ones are the ones that already have the pit inside that you take out yourselves. Now, if you want to take a shortcut and use already pitted olives, that's fine too. I'm doing that also because these are the only Kalamata olives that I had on hand, and my rule of thumb is use what you got. Now, the way to take out the pit is very easy. You just take a meat mallet or a meat hammer, and then you just hit them. Make sure they don't run away from you. And you keep hitting them until the pit comes out. You get what I mean? That some of them will open up and then you can just pull the pit out. Others you might have to help with your hand, just like that, get it out. It doesn't even take 5 minutes. You could also just squeeze them with your fingers and get the seed out. That's fine too. Comes out very easily. That's it. That was the hardest part. After this, everything basically goes into a food processor. Of course, if you want it really chunky, you can chop up the olives by hand and then mash them up with a mortar and pestle. That's just a lot of work. And the food processor is one of my favorite kitchen tools, and I like to use it whenever necessary just to make life so much easier. Now, next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate the garlic. And I grate the garlic ahead of time because I don't like chunks of garlic in this dip or in the spread. I want it to melt into the spread and just leave all of that delicious flavor. So I'll grate it right into the olive bowl. And then I'm also going to zest some of this lemon. I just need about 1/4 of it. That looks good and it smells good too. Now I'm going to add everything to the food processor. 2 tablespoons of capers. A heaping teaspoon of dried oregano. As much black pepper as you like, and the juice of half a lemon, or 2 tablespoons. And then for their nice smoky sweetness, I'm going to add a tablespoon of sun-dried tomatoes that are packed in olive oil, and 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And now the rest is all a matter of preference. You can pulse it until it's chunky or do it until it's as smooth as you like. So the olive paste is ready. Now I like to have mine a little tiny bit on the chunkier side. I don't want it completely smooth, but I don't want it so chunky that it's kind of like falling apart, if that makes any sense. I do want it to have some body and to hold together a little bit and be a little broken up. Go ahead and give it a taste and adjust the seasoning if it's necessary. It's absolutely not going to need any salt because those olives are very flavorful and briny from the vinegar that they're packed in or the salt that they're packed in. It depends how your olives are. Now, how are you going to serve this? There are so many ways. I like to serve it many times as a dip in the center with some breadsticks, some chopped tomatoes, some olives, so that way everybody knows what's in there. I still like to sprinkle some capers on top, even though there is a lot of flavor in there. I like for people to know what is inside of the dip, so I do decorate and garnish with whatever ingredients I've used before. You can serve this with vegetables if you want to leave it gluten-free. You can just stir this into pastas. You can use it as a spread for sandwiches. You could put it on the cheese board or an appetizer board. The sky's the limit. Use it in your dips, and I'm going to show you a dip, like I said, coming up next. Time to give it a taste. I'm going to use these breadsticks that I made the other day, and I will link up in the card section so you can get the recipe. Get a nice amount of this dip. It's salty, meaty, briny. All of the flavors in there are so yum and fresh. With the bread, it's perfect. You could even put this on top of toasted bread and make little bruschettas or bruschettas. My mind is just running. There are so many ways to make this. Head on over to the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com, to print this recipe out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I will see you all next time. Yes,